Okay, let's do a little warm-up here. Do you remember? Solve by taking the square root. Let's do x minus 1 squared plus 1 equals 5. So go ahead and pause and do that and see how you do. I'm going to keep going here. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. We get x minus 1 squared equals 4. We take the square root of both sides. We get x minus 1 equals, don't forget, plus or minus 2. And this breaks us into 2. We get x minus 1 equals positive 2. And we get x minus 1 equals negative 2. Two cases. So in the x minus 1 equals positive 2, we get x equals 3. And x minus 1 equals negative 2, we get x equals negative 1. So we get two solutions, x equals negative 1 and positive 3. Okay, if you're iffy on that, you should go back and practice it because you're going to need that. Okay, then we also have solve by factoring, which hopefully you've gotten good at. We have, let's do x squared plus, let me pause and come up with one. Hold on. Okay, so we have x squared plus 3x minus 3 equals 1. Okay, so go ahead and pause and solve that by factoring, and then unpause and see how you did. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. We get x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. We're going to factor that into x minus 4, x plus 1 equals 0. So we get x minus 4, oops, I didn't mean to do red on that one, and we get x plus 1 equals 0. So plus 4 to both sides, we get x equals negative 1 and positive 4. So there are some similarities to these two methods. In both methods, when we get towards the end, we break it up into two cases. So today, we're going to combine the two methods. So we're going to look first at x squared minus 4x plus 4, x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 9. Okay, now you've been trained very well. Hopefully you would subtract 9 from both sides. You get x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0, and then you factor it, x. We got minus 5 and plus 1. So we get x minus 5 equals 0. We get x plus 1 equals 0. We get x equals 5. X equals negative 1. No problem. I thought you were showing me something new, Mrs. Novak. Well, you might notice that this that I'm circling in green here, or yellow, is that yellow? This x squared minus 4x plus 4 just so happens to be a perfect square trinomial. which is going to give us our next method, which is, this is going to be a long video, guys, sorry, which is going to be method 3. It's perfect square trinomial method. And this is a method for solving quadratics. Perfect square tri method. So you already have solving by square root and solving by factoring. This method combines both of those. So step 1, let me see, hang on, I'm gonna erase this. I'm gonna try to put the steps on the left and the example on the right. We'll see if this actually works. I often run out of space. Oh my God. Just draw the line. Thank you. And example. Okay. So step 1. Notice you have a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so in that problem, x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 9. Oh, look, we have a perfect square trinomial. That's step 1. Woo! Perfect square tri. So instead of subtracting 9 from both sides, step 2 is factor the perfect square tri. So these are easy to factor. That's why that's one of the reasons why we have this method, because they're just really easy to factor. So this is x minus 2 squared equals 9. That's step 2. Can you guys see step 3? Step 3 is square root both sides. So we square root both sides. We get x minus 2 equals plus or minus 3. So we get x minus 2 equals 3, x minus 2 equals negative 3. Add 2 to both sides. We get x equals 5 and x equals negative 1. Okay, I'm going to show you why we would have this other method. So learn it, and then we will talk about why we have it. Okay, so your next your next video is gonna answer that.